A few quick tips for photographing small things. I was talking with Daniel Haire yesterday about photographing the pins that he's making as part of Shape Cult. We were looking through some of the photos that he posted on Instagram so far, and I decided this one is the best that captures the vibe of his brand. So he's got the staircase that's sort of leading off somewhere. To me, it feels like a dungeon from like an old video game. And so this stone floor really fits with that look of like descending somewhere. And the little spot of light helps to isolate the subject here and give some detail to the background that it's on, the stone, while the shadow in the back leads to this sort of like, oh, I don't know what's back there, you know, which helps with the occult feeling that his brand has. And so I talked to him about how to recreate that look, to look for pieces of stone. He said he really wanted to use marble, and to get that little like spot of pin light there, so you have the light in the foreground and the shadow in the background that gives you that sort of like, oh, I don't know what's back there sort of look. So after I gave him these tips, I saw that he actually put them to use. He sent me this video that's playing on his Instagram stories that showed him finding this one little piece of marble. It looks like it might have been in his bathroom, and he's got a light, and he's got a little flashlight down there, and he used that to create this image. And so I looked at that this morning, and then a little while later I was in the kitchen and a lot of sunlight was coming in through the window. That's why I'm in here now, because I really like the light in my kitchen more than any of their rooms in my house. And the light was hitting my watch and creating a little spotlight that the cats were following around. And, you know, obviously cats love chasing around light. And so I got out this spatula that I use sometimes because it creates a nice spotlight, and I was playing with the cats running up and down the hallway. Right, this hallway right here. That gave me an idea. That spotlight was creating this shadow. I propped it up on the counter and then pulled a piece of marble that I used for baking out of my freezer, and I threw it on the ground, hit it with the spotlight, and grabbed one of my pins and put it down there to create these photos. And it was pretty fun, very impromptu, but I want to show you a little bit of how I did this and what it can produce. So this is the test image that I took when I got set up in the hallway back here. And this is before I pulled out the piece of marble, but just to see how it looked in the shaft of light. And I wasn't planning to use this image, but I actually kind of like how it's got this soft, like the image isn't blurry. You can tell that it's in sharp focus here, but just the packaging makes it obscured. And I feel like that also goes right along with the branding. And so I decided to keep this one and edit it and send it to him. Second image was the pin on the marble here, and we're going for that look where the pin is in a little bit of spotlight and the shadows are falling off in the background. And I did a vertical one here so we'd have space to put any like type on the, or copy above it, similarly here. And then I was packing it up and I put the piece of marble back in the fridge, and then I turned around and looked at the light from the opposite direction where I took that first photo, and decided I actually like this direction a little bit more because it creates this shaft of light that comes across the image where there's a little bit of shadow in the foreground and all of that shadow in the background. And so that's even more of it being like, oh, well, you only know about this one little piece. Anyway, so this is a fun way to do subject isolation, is to hit the subject with just a little bit of light and let the rest of the image be really dark. It gives you this really moody look that I feel really fits with his brand, and you can use it for all sorts of things. What's nice about this is that you don't need a lot of space to do it, especially if you're using a macro lens and getting in really close. You can shoot it on a carpet in a small hallway. You know, you just bounce the light that you need, or you bring artificial light, and you can create a good image like this with nothing. So I hope that helps you out, and have a good day.